How do you order food for the office these days? How do you make sure it's on time and as ordered? How can you get it individually packaged? How? EasyCater. When you order on EasyCater.com, the food comes as ordered and on time 98% of the time. And when there's a problem, which is practically never,
Thank you for calling EasyCater.
you can reach someone in about 9 seconds. How do you order 24/7 from more than 80,000 restaurants? How? EasyCater. Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com.
Dealing with adversity and finding ways to unify and overcome it will always be part of our future. The new season of Hope Through History, a documentary podcast presentation from C13 Originals in association with the History Channel, written and narrated by me, John Meacham, features moments in our nation's past when we faced challenges as a country and as a world. Listen and follow Season 2 of Hope Through History, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
The Dave and Mahoney Morning Show.
Listen live on the Odyssey app.
Well, let's kick things going. Officially, Mahoney got some good news and some bad news to kick things off today. What would you like first there, my friend?
Dave, why don't we start up today's show with some bad news?
Don't you hate it when your car gets stolen twice in 24 hours?
Uh-huh.
So the car's owner, her name is Yasmin. She has been trying to figure out what exactly happened here. It was pouring rain on a Friday night in Maryland. She's 21 years old, and she ran from her car to the entrance of an apartment building to give an Instacart delivery to a woman that was waiting there.
Okay.
So she's out working. She said, I turn around, I see these 3 kids circling my car, and before I can do anything, it just happened so fast, they just drove away with my car.
Oh,
so she had a silver Mercedes. The keys were inside. It was gone. So about 10 a.m. Saturday, she gets a call from a D.C. police officer say, we found your car in the alley. That's great, right? She tried but failed to find the spare key, so the officer told her, yeah, look, we're going to have to tow it. We can't just leave it in the alley. It's blocking it. Garbage trucks go through there, etc. But he said it would be a better decision to call my insurance and get a tow from them. That way I wouldn't be charged for it. So she got a call from her insurance company to arrange a tow, and it was taking longer because it was a holiday weekend. Well, that's when she got a call saying the car had been stolen again. Police want to hear from anyone in the area who may have security camera footage from the alley that day.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, while she was waiting to get it towed because it had been recovered by the D.C. police, it got stolen again.
So they just left it there.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the same kids, right? The ones that had the keys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because who else would just steal a random car that's just there?
Yeah.
Or how would they be able to just, I don't know, turn it on? I mean, I know that you have the ability to, like, make the wires, like, zzz, zzz, and then turn the car on.
yeah.
Whatever that's called.
Hot wiring?
Hot wiring the car. Yeah, but it's got to be those
There
kids.
wasn't, like, somebody there taking a report while they said they found your car. It's like, no, it's just in an alley. Go get it if you want it. We're good.
It was a holiday weekend.
I mean, I get it's D.C., and there's, other major crimes happening in that city.
Yep.
But you would think.
I also feel like if I had gotten my car stolen and they had found it, I would immediately go to my car and wait until the tow people showed up to actually get it.
Well, but
I would just Uber?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like,
There are
I'd
options.
be pretty anxious to know what condition my car was in. I would be excited to be getting it back, thinking it was gone.
Or have the cops come get you and take you to the
If your
car.
car gets stolen, does your insurance cover that?
Does it cover the Uber or the stealing?
No, like the stealing.
Yeah,
like,
your car is insured.
Yeah,
your vehicle is
maybe-
insured. It's a
maybe-
piece of property
like,
that's insured.
Do you want that car back?
Well, maybe that's what's going on.
I
here.
mean, there's my guess is there's smells in that car that are never going to go away. That are
Who do you think stole her car?
I think
what
anybody
do you
who
mean
is
smells?
anybody who is a car thief probably hasn't showered the proper amount.
Really?
If I were to take a guess on whether or not if you are stealing a car, you have showered every day this week, my guess I would put a lot of money on no.
Hold on a second. So you're agreeing that showering every day of the week is the proper amount?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
But if you're out
backtracking
running
now.
around, you don't have a car, and you're walking around, you're walking everywhere, you may need to shower.
How many
Like walking
times
about like 5 miles a day.
How many times have you showered this week?
What are we on, day 6? Probably 5 times.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
I don't.
You
Who
just-
remembers showers?
I do.
you?
Literally every morning. Yes. At the
I
exact same
showered-
time. In the exact
I
same
showered
place.
yesterday, last night. before I went to bed.
Okay.
Showering's fine. It's the washing of the hair that's just the worst thing on the planet.
It's different for guys and girls on that side, but yeah, I feel you.
Washing your body is totally different.
But you wash your body every day.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is the proper amount of times to wash your body.
Okay.
A stolen car is like a Motel 6 room, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mess gets smoked in there.
You can stink it up, do whatever you want.
Weird butt stuff's
Let go of your
happening.
This kind of makes me want to steal a car. I mean, like, if I can just do all sorts of weird butt stuff while smoking my illegal drugs in it, that sounds great.
Yes. Does it?
Not really. So some good news today as well. 10 years after their first date, this lady named Debbie married her longtime sweetheart at their Florida church. 2 days later, she put on a hospital gown and donated a kidney to the guy's ex-wife.
Debbie, you are a dope. Like him, yes. His ex-wife, nah.
Mylene,
Like, I'm
59,
sorry.
has long struggled with kidney disease by last year. She is pale, dark circles under her eyes, dragging herself throughout the workday with no energy. By the time she was admitted to the hospital, kidneys functioning at only 8%. So her brother offered to donate a kidney, was not a match, though. So Debbie said, you know what? I'll do it.
So they must have like kids together or something. They must actually get along. Those are the only reasons why that would ever make sense.
She said
also,
she
like, if you
imagined
just watch
Mylene's
someone
daughter
dying-
giving birth and her mom not being there. I just could not try to change that.
Okay,
it
they
does
got
not say
kids,
whether or
but
not it
still.
was.
Man, have one of your kids give you a kidney.
I think
That's
kids'
why you have-
kidneys are different
Yeah,
sizes than adult
they're
kids.
actually called kidneys.
Yeah, that's
Hello.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So we know that the ransomware attacks have gotten out of control. Of course, the JBS cyber attack, which affected all of the meat. And I mean, they're saying that meat prices have gone up like 40% on chicken, and it's up like $4 a pound on tenderloins and stuff. It's nuts, right?
That is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, so I mean, it's made a lot of people mad, but the FBI has said, yeah, it's that dumb hacker group in Russia that has done it again. But now, I mean, the meat's one thing, the gas another thing. It has gone too far, you guys.
We need some Arby's assassins.
That's exactly
out there.
what we
I
need.
mean, if they've got the meats, they've got the guns.
They have now gone after the Nantucket Ferry. Not the Nantucket Ferry.
Anything but the Nantucket Ferry.
Yeah, the ransom. I mean, that's the thing is like you see like these huge corporations that are getting hit, but then also you hack the Nantucket Ferry. Like, what is the upside? How much money could they possibly have?
It's a ferry.
That was my nickname in high school.
I thought that was a move. The steamship authority said the cyber attack affected customers' ability to book tickets or change their reservation online or by phone. So the service said customers can purchase tickets at the terminals, and cash is the preferred method of payment. But the company said the attack didn't pose a safety risk because it didn't affect radar or the GPS abilities. Still, the fact that they are messing with ferries and people's health and credit and gas and meat, we've got to do something about this.
You got to make the punishment way higher.
Yes.
Like seriously.
I feel
way
like these
higher.
are people who might have not stepped in America before now anymore. Like, I mean, I understand we were talking about how big of a deal that the gas and the pipeline and now with the meat and stuff. And we were thinking maybe, big milk or water or something like that. Things that we need that are necessities, not the Nantucket Ferry. But I feel like maybe
You may
they
need
thought
the
that the Nantucket Ferry was like bigger than what it really was.
Yeah, they're like, oh, crap.
like they thought
Nantucket Ferry's like, we can give you $58 in crypto if that's all we
We
got.
don't even know how to buy crypto here at the Nantucket Ferry.
We have Kohl's cash.
We drive a boat from one place to another. Like, why would you think that we know how to give you Dogecoin? Like, what are you talking about?
Nantucket does sound pretty fancy though.
Yeah.
Sounds
Maybe
prestigious.
we're wrong. Maybe the Nantucket Ferry is a lot fancier than we
Ooh.
think.
Maybe
That
it's
could
like
be
an
it.
I've been on a lot of
underground
ferries in my
money
day.
laundering scheme.
No ferry is fancy. There are no fancy ferries.
I have been on a fancy ferry before.
You have
Where?
Over in Europe.
Okay.
They have
that's
a
not America.
They have a
America.
They have a
Oh,
Greek
European ferry.
No,
over
they
here.
have a ferry in Greece, and it's basically like a speedboat and a cruise ship had sex, and that's what you get. Like, it's awesome.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, ours are like just little puddle jumpers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, ours has the wheel on the back to make it go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Amazon is now welcoming
Mark
pot
Twain's
smokers.
there for some reason.
Yeah, like, aren't you dead? Why are you still here?
Yeah.
I got a Twitter
It's like
account.
I appreciate your humor all these years later, but
You're a funny guy.
The ghost of Mark Twain.
yeah.
So Amazon said this week it's going to stop testing job seekers for marijuana. Congratulations. The company, the second largest private employer in the U.S. behind Walmart, is making the change as states legalize cannabis to introduce laws banning employers from testing for it. So Amazon said in a blog post that it will test test workers for other drugs and conduct impairment checks on the job. The company said some roles may still require a cannabis test in line with the Department of Transportation regulations, et cetera. But, yeah, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Seattle is where Amazon is based. Marijuana has been legal there for a long time, and they're even now, like, expunging a bunch of prior convictions. Testing people for marijuana in 2021 just seems so archaic.
It seems a little bit ridiculous. And also, I feel like every higher-end job that I've ever had, they don't drug test. It feels like... What are you doing?
Well, they're doing this just because all of the bad press that they're getting right now. This seems like a oh, hey, look over here.
Look over here.
All of this other bad stuff that's coming out about Amazon and the things that they're about to start implementing or that should be in the press. Big news that everybody's hearing about. But wait, we're going to stop.
I have no
testing for
problem
pot.
with the impairment tests and things of that nature, especially if you're on the road.
If you're on the job, like nobody's saying that you can show up to work stoned. Just like you can't show up to work drunk.
Yeah, what I do in my private time at home, like especially if alcohol is legal, marijuana 100%. Like, are you going to start testing people like, oh my God, this guy had a Bud Light 4 weeks ago. We can't hire him. Oh,
right.
Could you? It's the same
So
stupid.
A marijuana cigarette.
The devil's lettuce. Oh, my.
You're not going to like this, do we?
It's going to make you feel all good feelings. That movie hits.
That does.
I'll watch it this weekend.
Yep.
So Google is interested in your ear hole. Less than a month after Amazon's Echo Buds debuted, undercutting the Apple AirPods, Google is launching the newest Pixel Buds at a lower price than Amazon's latest and lower than the previous Pixel Buds, which were $179. The Pixel Buds A Series, $99. Available to pre-order on Google's website. They say the latest may not have all the bells and whistles found on the pricier pods, such as the noise cancellation you get with the AirPod Pros and Samsung's Galaxy Buds Pro, which are $199 compared to Apple's, which are $249. But the new Pixel Buds may be the right choice for someone to look to join into the wireless wave at a much lower price point.
I don't know if I've ever even seen anybody. I see AirPods all day, every day, anywhere I go.
All over the place. Do you ever see, and maybe I just don't realize that I'm seeing them, but I don't think I've ever seen the
Pixel Buds?
the Pixel Buds or the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously, the Pixel and what Samsung puts out, that makes up a huge part of the smartphone market, but I've never seen those earpods.
Dude, I'm still rocking
I don't even know what
the
to call them
cord.
other than earpods.
You're still what?
I'm still rocking the cord.
You still have the cord?
Heck yeah. Well, like for travel. But yeah, I still have the cord.
Every time I see somebody with a cord, I'm like, really? Like that's
You
it's
got
so
the-
I feel like it
inconvenient.
screams poor.
No, I mean, like, for example, Marc-Andre Fleury, the Golden Knights goalie, the other day was walking into the playoffs game, and he's got the cord. So he's clearly not poor.
Right.
It's just a preference. But my problem with the cord is that every time that I used it in the past while working out,
Yeah.
It gets tangled.
at some point, I would always grab it if I was running with my
running.
hand.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
true.
nothing worse than the feeling of it. Your earbuds just getting ripped out of your ear.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you realize like how bad you're panting and how awfully out of shape you are
And
when
how
you're
heavy
in
your
your
feet are.
moment.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
boom. Yeah, no, I don't use those whenever I work out. I have like the kind that are like the dorky ones that like go around my ear because the pods always fall out of my ears whenever I run.
Do you have exceptionally small ear holes?
No, my ears are like really hard. They don't bend really. Like my cartilage is like
what's wrong
hard
with your
cartilage.
cartilage?
So you'll never be Dumbo.
I'll never be Dumbo. I can't
never-
fly.
you can't
I won't
fly.
be able to fly.
Maybe they're having some kind of transmitting trouble. Why don't we phone the station?
Got a comment, complaint, or opinion for the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show? Leave the good stuff on our voicemail. 833-YO-DUMMY. Again, 833-YO-DUMMY.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, I was wondering, what's your guys' weirdest experience at the Strip? There's like crazy cartoon characters all the time, and for me personally, it was crazy. So I was just wondering, what's your craziest experience on the Strip?
Message deleted.
Losing all of my money every time that I go there? Is that a crazy experience? No, I mean, every time that you go down there, something crazy happens. It just all blends together.
Yeah, it's all just a mishmash of weirdos and whatever.
But I feel like that's sort of any crowded bar area where
Times
there's
Square,
people are drinking.
New York. I mean, yeah, like
Gas
the
lamp.
landing
Yeah,
in St. Louis.
Sure, yes. It's like
yeah.
My
drunk people
the
and
college district, 5 Points in Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, when you go down there at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night when things are about to close down, like that was mayhem.
Summerfest in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, That's where you got drunk and peed outside?
Yeah, I almost got arrested. I had to pee, man.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't feel like I've ever been on the Strip late enough or like Fremont Street late enough where the crazy stuff is happening.
Ian, I mean, you seek out the crazy.
I thrive in those environments. I can't say I've ever had a bad experience. I've just met some bad people.
Yeah.
Down there, but it's always been fun. And to be honest with you, I made my career off of it, so I'm kind of
You're not mad at it?
I'm kind of in debt to those areas.
You need to start walking around and handing out $5 bills to all of the meth heads that you've interviewed.
I should.
Yeah, you should.
And when we get fired, are you going to go down there and become like king of the mascots?
Do
you know, actually, because my in-laws were in town just this last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and they stayed down there, and they were surprised how many people I knew and how many people knew me just walking down the street.
You could be the next mayor of the city of Las Vegas.
I think, yeah, actually. I think I could do it.
Or you could just paint yourself green and be Gumby and be one of those people.
I'll stick $1 in your G-string.
Yeah, I could still be mayor. Painted
Not
green.
a $5, but $1.
$1? A single dollar?
Yeah.
I mean, we have just recently been fired, so I mean, you got to take into account.
Yeah, I don't have money to
Times
burn.
are tight.
Yeah.
Please leave a message after the tone.
My weirdest food habit is not so much what I eat, but the way I eat certain things like peanut butter and or tuna fish sandwiches. Something I came up with when I was 8 years old and neurotic at the time. Who knows? I just take a bite out of one side, then another one off the other side, then one in the middle, and a big bite at one end, and then just kind of nibble them down like a chipmunk eating whatever chipmunks and squirrels eat.
Message deleted.
So you
basically just go
one end to the other?
Yeah, just spin it around constantly.
But what about this hole in the middle thing? Is that so that you can spin it around and eat it like
but even then you eventually lose all the crust. Then you don't have anything solid to hold on to. So that's my problem.
That's what you use your crust for? Is
Yeah.
like to hold on?
Crust is just a handle.
Yeah,
It is.
sandwich handlebars. Yeah,
For
that's
real.
what crust is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Like crust serves no other. Like crust is garbage.
You don't actually eat the crust.
Sometimes I don't.
Are you an adult?
Crust is just
You
useless.
silly.
Weren't you making your wife cut the crust off your sandwich for a while there?
Yeah.
Eat
Yeah,
the crust.
Okay, yeah.
No,
When she makes
you know what crust is like the plural or the adjective for crust is like crusty. You know, so it's like crust and crusty. Like there's a reason that's the base word of crusty is crust. Nobody wants that crust. You got your eye crust. Your eyes are crusty. Crust is not something that people want. It says it in the name.
Okay, so but when your wife makes you your Ezekiel toast with peanut butter for breakfast
Every morning.
Does she cut the crust off for you every morning?
No, she cuts it down the middle, and I use the crust as a
just to hold on to it,
as a
and then you
handlebar.
discard the crust.
Yes.
Do you just leave the crust on the counter and make her throw it away? Because I imagine
I
that's
give it
what
to
happened.
her, and
You
she
give it
eats
to
the
her.
crust.
And she eats it. Really?
Yeah.
It's like you're a baby.
So somebody does want the crust,
She
and
does,
it's your mom.
but she's crazy because like she doesn't want it to go to waste, and I don't understand.
She's crust crazy?
Yeah.
Oh my
Crazy
God.
crust.
Please leave a message after the tone.
We need more guitar-driven tunes.
Message deleted.
He said we need more guitar-driven tunes.
Well, learn how to play guitar and start making some good guitar-driven music then, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't count on us to do that.
Yeah, everyone's been synthing it out for the last 9 years.
Way easier to make it on a computer than actually
Also,
learn a skill.
We're not cutting the crust for you, man. Come on.
2 Feet exists. 2 Feet's good. He's like a little jam guy. Lots of guitar in
There's some
there.
guitar.
John Mayer's got a new album coming out.
Yeah. What's it called again?
Sad music or sad songs or something.
Sad songs to cry to or something like that.
It's very, yeah. So don't worry, sir.
Yeah.
Good news is on the way, as John Mayer has said once.
Or
upon a
just
time.
go back and listen to all the old stuff that's amazing.
Yeah, and the cover bands are coming back. Like, I know it's been a while since we've been out to the local bars, and there's been the cover bands playing in the corner, and there's 3 people there
Yeah,
watching.
don't stop believing's coming your way.
Yeah.
Believe it.
But let's not get overly nostalgic about how great that was either.
Yeah.
I mean, you get tired of guitar real quick when it's the speaker's 3 feet away from your table, and you're just trying to enjoy a cheap bag
So much screaming.
of chicken wings and
So much screaming.
everything's vibrating. Some guy just like, yeah, let me turn up my stack.
The accuracy of that is, I mean, chef kiss. That is so perfect.
Oh.
Here's what's making news.
So, another moron busted in air. This time it was a flight from San Diego to Albuquerque. A Northern California man has been sentenced to 6 months in prison for assaulting 2 flight attendants while going from San Diego to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Which is not that long of a flight.
It's just not.
It really
Sit
isn't.
down, you douche. Prosecutors say the plea agreement made by the 43-year-old man after he repeatedly touched a female flight attendant on her legs during a December 19th flight. She asked him to stop, and then he grabbed her butt. Prosecutors say a second flight attendant stepped in and grabbed that. The second flight attendant gets grabbed in by the man, and he starts assaulting them both. I'm glad this guy's going to jail.
Again, please beat him with the seatbelt extenders.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I want. Like, if we get more vigilante plane justice like that going down before we, the plane lands and you kick him off and send his ass off to jail.
If you put your hands on somebody else in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
Like what, in a confined space like an aircraft, you have got to expect that you're going to get beaten down by everyone else on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you should.
We need, like the laws at sea, man, like in the air.
Overboard. Walk the plank.
Yeah.
Walk the wing.
Toss them out.
Yep. So Atari is back.
Atari?
Yeah.
Like the old school video
like
game
the old
system?
school video game system. The company announced its Atari VCS video game console will launch in the U.S. on, did I say Atari? On June 15th.
I'm just laughing at you're launching a new gaming system, Atari.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Consumers can buy one at retailers, including Best Buy and GameStop, as well as the official Atari VCS website. The consoles will start at $300.
That is insane.
Yeah, they have the wireless classic joystick, and the modern controller will sell for $399.
No.
So
I mean, how can you even
looks
compete?
and feels like the classic consoles from the 80s, but will also feature several modern touches.
No.
Here's why this won't work, Atari, because they came out with those like little joysticks, and somebody gave me one as a gift. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Where it was just the Atari joystick,
And it
but it
had
had
everything in it.
all the games programmed into it, and then you just literally plug that into your TV, and they were like $14.
Yeah. You used it like one time.
Used it one time, we're like, yeah, this is kind of nostalgic. Never touched it again.
So let me ask you. So Atari has multiple games that are already on the Atari system, correct?
Yeah, well, it was just like the old Nintendo, right? Where there's
Okay.
like cartridges, right?
So, like,
little games that you put in.
Games that are like
A
for
million years
nostalgia
old.
purposes only. Whereas
You would never
can
play
go out,
Tecmo Bowl when Madden exists.
You
ever.
can go out and get an Xbox or a PlayStation for $400.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know actually. Can you get an Xbox or a new PlayStation 5 or whatever they are right now, or is it
they're
still
in
hard
stock,
to find?
but they're still impossible to find.
So, but it's relatively about the same price, and you get unlimited downloads on all kinds of games. And I would dare to say you could probably download Pong for free.
There's things called emulators and ROMs and things like that have existed for literally 25 years.
Is there really that much nostalgia? I mean, they're talking about like Asteroids and Centipede and Missile Command. I mean, I used to love playing those games when I was a kid. That was what we did for much of our free
'Cause
time
those
when
were
we
the
first got
only games that were around
right,
back then.
but
Yeah.
it's like thinking about there being nostalgia for cars with windows that aren't electric anymore, like
Right.
having manual windows or a vehicle with no air conditioning, because that's how my Pappy Pap's car was.
Well, I mean,
No, there's been advancements.
the reason why this would ever be something that a true video game person, like who is really into it, would even want to buy it is the OG version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the original Atari that
If you
could
had the
buy
original
back in the
Atari,
day.
yes.
For like a collector item.
Sure.
Not for a brand new one for
$300
$400.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I
pass
don't
on
know.
that.
I feel like, again, fond memories of our youth, but $300, not a chance.
So if you do this, even if the customer is rude, you suck.
What
So
happened?
a former Starbucks employee from Florida has infuriated TikTok users after he got on his social media and admitted that he used to give decaf coffee to unsuspecting customers just because he felt like it. Not even because they were rude to him, but just because he felt like it.
Oh, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, truly is a bad move.
He said that he used to work at Starbucks, and he worked there about 5 years ago, and he'd punish rude customers by swapping their drink orders.
Oh, my God.
And then he would also just give people decaf. He said he didn't stop there. He'd also give decaf to customers because he felt like it, or if he was just annoyed with the way that they pronounce the word croissant. So if they said it with a French accent, like, I would like a croissant, which I
What
get
a
is
God
kind of annoying.
complex, but it's so weird.
Get over yourself.
Like, get over yourself.
Well, why would you put this
Bitch-ass
online?
barista.
Because people just think it's funny. Like, because
It's not.
Haha, look what I did.
No,
but caffeine, you don't mess with people's
No,
caffeine.
I will cut you.
I'm addicted to caffeine.
Yes, I have a problem.
I have an actual
Anybody
caffeine problem.
who is up listening right now, you probably relies heavily upon caffeine. But what I'm
Also,
saying,
like,
why I don't...
you're just getting your day going. Like, you're just trying to get into it, have a good day. You go to get your Starbucks coffee, which costs you $8 to begin with, and then they're going to mess with it? Like, screw you, man.
I agree that rude customers the worst. I'm 100% on board there. But like, if you're just willy nilly deciding to like give people decaf and messing with their orders,
But here's
but
the thing,
why are you
is
putting that
that
online? Because it's
the
your
wor-
face,
the
and you're
world-
now online, so your future your future potential employers are going to see that and go like, I
not
walk into a
hiring
place, I see that guy, and be like, F this place, I'm out.
But here's the thing, is that the world doesn't revolve around this person. No, you should never be rude to anyone. But let's say that you're at a Starbucks drive-thru and you're very distracted because you're rushing to work, you're late, your kid is at home barfing all over the place. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Your boss is yelling at you already. There's just a million things. Maybe you're not trying to be rude to that person. You're just in the middle of 9 other things because that's how the world works now. And so this wanker is going to sit here and mess with your order that you're paying for. Starbucks should sue this guy.
Dude, if I don't get a cup of, if I don't get caffeine the start of my day, I have a legitimate migraine. And I'm quite a bitch by noon.
Yeah, and I mean, even with your Starbucks, you're sometimes
I'm
miserable.
still big-ass bitch.
The Dave and Mahoney Morning Show present The Internet is Awesome.
So many amazing undiscovered talents because of the internet. I mean, back in the day, there used to be like a couple of game shows where it was talent-type performances and Star Search, things like that. You know, American Idol, of course, came along.
Finest performance.
Yeah, it did change things. But, I mean, if the internet never existed, we wouldn't know that there was some guy who decided to do a Linkin Park cover as Eric Cartman. And we need to hear these things. This is important stuff, you guys.
No, take this man's freedoms away.
No, this is beautiful.
Put my trust in you. Push as far as I can go. Follow this. There's only one thing you should know. I put my trust in you.
He's a good singer.
Yeah, it's great.
No.
You don't like it?
Slapping that guitar. Oh, yeah, man.
Did you like the Nirvana Euro dubstep better?
Yes, of course. It's so much better.
I mean, that hits.
I mean, still not as good, though, as the very emotional tub thumping from Chumbawamba, though, right?
I didn't even know. I don't even know how Mahoney heard this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
This is actually the Lumineers. They've been up for 6 days, trying to get creative, holed up in a cabin somewhere in Minnesota.
They were microdosing, they were macrodosing the whole time.
It happens.
Let's try
it. Where's my big brimmed hat? Where is it?
Oh my God. That was perfect. In the show. That was so good. Oh God.
So we've heard a lot about these different promotions that are going on. Budweiser came out and said, hey, we're giving away free beer for people to get vaccinated. And then Ohio with their millions of dollars that they're giving away. But West Virginia came out with maybe the most compelling of them all.
And it's working.
Yes, it is. The Governor Justice, as his name actually happens to be. Gov Just. He rolled out a very enticing promotion for the fine folks of West Virginia.
On Father's Day, we're also going to give away 2 brand new custom outfitted trucks.
I also love how whoever set up the audio for the governor of West Virginia does not know how to control a level.
No.
It's just screaming
No,
loud.
Dave.
Peaking.
The level of Governor Justice is no amplification is needed. He could just get out there and speak.
Oh, this is just his natural voice. Okay, that does make sense, yeah.
We're going to give 5 custom hunting rifles and 5 custom hunting shotguns away. And also on Father's Day, we're going to make one of you a millionaire.
I love that a government official isn't saying we are going to give away. He said we're going to give.
Yeah, so if coronavirus didn't kill your annoying great uncle, you can just shoot him yourself.
Pow! Or run him over with his custom outfitted truck.
And all you hippies out west and in the northeast, we're better than you. All you got was a sticker.
So this was probably one of the most incredible things that we've seen in a long time. It was a 17-year-old girl, and when we first saw the video, we thought it was an older lady doing this. It was a 17-year-old girl that just straight up just bum rushes a brown bear and shoves it off of the wall in her yard. Now, Audrey, she caught this. I didn't notice this at first. It's a mama bear there with her cubs.
Yep.
And so I didn't know. I just thought it was like a bear walking on a wall. So the mama bear's there trying to protect her cubs. because these dogs come running out of the yard and they start barking at her cubs, but then the bear starts swatting at the dogs. This girl who's 17 years old sees what's going on, runs out there and just body checks this brown bear straight off the wall.
We made direct eye contact. I mean, we were in each other's faces. The dog that the bear grabbed, she's the baby. I have to protect the baby. I sprint towards her, and in that split second, I decide to push the bear like it was nothing, apparently. And when I push the bear, she falls back, and that's when the dog she grabbed runs away, and I pick up my other dog, and I scram.
How embarrassed do you think that bear is right now in the bear community? Because you know they love YouTube. And so, I mean, like, you're a mama bear. You're supposed to be protecting your cubs, and you got punked out by a 17-year-old clawless girl.
You know what's really interesting, too, is that I just kind of noticed this girl, it's like mama instinct on both ends.
Yeah.
The mama bear is
Mama versus
protecting.
mama.
And then this 17-year-old girl said, I have to protect the baby dog. So it was just kind of like a battle of
So it's not
estrogen.
it's not a done deal yet, but there is talks about that girl and that bear being on the next Trilla fight card.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Yep.
With
Gonna be
Snoop Dogg just screaming in the
Snoop Dogg
background.
and drunk Oscar De La Hoya going to be commentating.
Can't wait.
I'd watch. I really would.
I pay.
And finally, probably one of the greatest fast food freakouts that we've ever heard because of the way that this guy is mocking this lady. It's amazing. So this is at a Wendy's drive-thru, and there's a lady who is refusing to pull forward because she hasn't got her sauce yet. And this guy's like, hey, man, we're all waiting for our food, too. Could you please move? And she's screaming at him, and the way that he claps back, it's just magic.
Pull up, I'm not leaving.
Oh, well, could you please pull up so we could have our food?
When I get my sauce.
Please. You're serious, ma'am.
Yes, I'm serious.
Yes, you're serious. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm serious, too.
Don't me, you motherfucker.
Okay.
I'll put my car in reverse now so you hit.
Well, I'm recording right now, you idiot.
So do I.
Oh, okay.
It's people whose lifetime goal is to own a fireworks stand. It's the Redneck Report.
So, I mean, look, if you're going to have a party, you best get the right supplies, right? There's nothing worse than having a party and not needing what you need whenever the party is going down. And so this woman from Milwaukee walked into a Walmart and said, I'm going to steal some stuff. Because, who's going to pay for it?
What did she need to steal, Dave?
She needed to steal, apparently, condoms and Slim Jims.
Oh, yeah.
You're kidding.
Investigators say that on Saturday, May 29th, they had to respond to a Walmart for a shoplifting complaint. A criminal complaint said that they found this woman running from a nearby Wendy's/Quick Trip through the Jiffy Lube parking lot, was arrested without incident.
I want to go. Where was this at? I feel like I
Milwaukee,
know that.
yeah.
I feel like I know
this
that.
This is just every town in USA.
No. Jack in a Box.
But that was
Jiffy Lube,
that was
Walmart.
not it. So those were just the two items. So it's actually items worth $420 worth of stuff inside of her purse.
Okay.
9 packs of Slim Jims, twin packs. 4 natural condoms. 6 Reese's king-size candy bars.
We can't do lakes. We want something that came from the earth. 1
Trojan pack of condoms. So I don't know what. Different types, natural and Trojan. Miscellaneous clearance condoms.
And clearance condoms on top of that. It's the holy trinity of condom.
Miscellaneous jewelry, 6 Snickers candy bars, 5 pairs of sunglasses, 5 pack of Bic lighters, 2 packs of shoelaces, 1 black purse with a tag, 1 blue bandana, 1 brassiere, 1 thong, and a shape-up booty package.
This lady was having herself the next week of fun.
I mean, 5 pairs of sunglasses will last you
That's for her and
quite
her
literally
girls.
the entire adult
If
life.
you're going to provide the condoms, the Slim Jims, and the Snickers while you're wearing that sweet-ass Walmart thong,
I imagine that you're sitting
girl,
inside
you 10,
in only your
20
shape-up
seconds of-
booty package, your bra, eating your Slim Jims, your Snickers, with your condoms, and the shades on inside. Got to be while sitting on the
Living the
couch, right?
dream.
Living.
Do you think that she chooses what condom is for what man?
Saves the
She's like,
good
she's
ones.
like, Jerry just likes the natural condoms.
Yeah.
Or I'm even just thinking about
Joe
the
likes the
possibility of
Trojans.
getting pregnant and one of them breaking.
Yeah,
For, the clearance condoms.
Like, you can't use the clearance condoms on the guy that you don't care about, right?
No, you get a
he's
honey
only-
trap.
Yeah, like that's no good.
I feel like this is a Christmas song waiting to happen with that list of
5
things.
Snickers bars, 4 Slim Jims, and a baby on the way, or something like that because it broke. I don't know.
9 packs of Slim Jims and 4 natural condoms. Miscellaneous jewelry and maybe a thong.
I'm in the Christmas spirit already. Ian. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So a New Mexico sheriff who was running for mayor of Albuquerque was interrupted at a campaign event by a flying drone with a dildo attached to it.
Oh, yes.
And a man who called him tyrant with his swinging fist was the one behind it. The campaign group for the sheriff's office said the guy was unharmed and will not be intimidated by the mobile dong. A sheriff's office report said the owner of the event center grabbed the device. You snatched it out of the air? Said that a 20-year-old also tried to grab it because if you're 20 and you're at a campaign event and you see
That's a free dildo.
yeah, if you see a helicoptered in dildo, you're like, I'm going to grab that thing.
This is not the first flying adult toy that we've heard of when it involves political people. I believe it was in Europe a few years ago. We saw a drone dong, a drong, as you may want to call it. But the guy got arrested for this?
Yeah, he's been charged with petty misdemeanor battery. I don't know if it actually
I mean, I feel like you have to hit somebody in the face with it, right? If it's just flying around.
I mean, if you're gonna mount a dong on a drone, like you've got to be one of those like helicopter rescue pilots that go out to rescue people if they fall off a cliff, you know, where you've got like a very small gap that you can lower the person down into. Like you have to have that sort of pinpoint accuracy because you can't swoop a drone in with a dong attached to it and miss. How embarrassing!
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Do we think that this was a duct taped dong, or do we think it's one of the suction cups ones?
I think it was one of the suction cup ones with, and this is just how I'm imagining. I haven't actually seen a picture of it with like fishing line attached to the suction base.
Ensure that it stays on there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my second question is, do you think that it was on the top of the drone, or do you think it was dangling from the bottom?
I think it's the bottom, like, and you got to swing that thing like it's a wrecking ball, and you're trying to take down a building. You know.
Because I guess if it was on the top, it would look kind of like it would be flapping around in the wind.
And you just kamikaze it, just boom.
Kind of like a propeller.
Oh, that is classic.
I'm not going to lie. If I'm running for mayor and my security does not shoot that dong out of the air, I'm getting a whole new security team.
Oh, for
You're going to shoot the dong down?
Oh, yeah.
Snipe it.
Yeah.
Dong down, dong down.
That's
dong
right.
down. Is it black dog down?
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So bring on the DMT and the shrooms. It's time to party. Woo! No, so a bill to decriminalize the possession and sharing of psychedelic drugs in California has been passed by the state Senate and will head to the Assembly. Senate Bill 519 was introduced by Scott Wiener. This is a big step for our
That is not his name.
That is his name.
Are you sure it's not Weiner?
It is. No, it is Senator Scott Wiener.
Okay, sure.
Well, just Senator Wiener.
Yeah. It's like when the old Speaker of the House, John Boehner, you're like, that is for sure Boner. That's how you. That is the proper English way of spelling boner.
Boner.
There's an H in there.
Oh.
Boehner.
That's a fancy.
Bon hair.
That's
Boner.
That's a fancy boner.
Oh yes.
It
It has his pinkies out.
A little top hat.
Yeah, top hat for sure.
So they're saying that it is a big step for this legislation and for our movement to end the war on drugs and to take a more health and science-based approach and move away from criminalizing of drugs. Went on to say that psychedelic drugs have significant benefits for both mental health and addiction treatment, and they're right. But I mean, is anyone thinking, okay, well, this is going to be great for all of the uses medically? I think that most people are like, woohoo, I can do shrooms in the park.
I mean, the fact we heard Mike Tyson come out the other day that psychedelics saved his life. You know, there's a lot of people out there who have PTSD.
And, well, I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like the science-based stuff where it actually is being, still monitored, how it's being dosed and everything else. Most people, don't use MDMA for
You're microdosing everything.
For scientific purposes.
Right.
They're doing it because they're at a day club.
Just because people abuse it doesn't mean that it can't be legalized for medical use and treating people.
Well, just like with alcohol.
Yeah, but I mean, so with this
cigarettes.
being decriminalized, it doesn't mean that it's legal to sell it. So it's not going to be available at Rite Aid.
But also, you shouldn't be locking somebody up because they have some magic mushrooms. It's that's just fine them, call it a day.
These are shiitake, sir.
Yeah, I cook with these.
Yeah, these are my cooking shrooms.
So
I really wanted to add some umami to the dish.
So the job gains for the month of May were a little bit lower than expected. They were saying that it was estimated 670,000 new jobs would be added. It was more like 559,000, but it's still up. And the good news from the report that just dropped this morning is that the unemployment rate has fallen below 6%, which is a new pandemic low. So 5.8% is where it's at right now, which is significant considering
where it was.
You know,
What was it at the highest? Like 20%?
it depends on what city you're in, right? It's 30% in some places almost. But yeah, I mean, like 20%, 15%, even 12%, I think, nationally. So now it's down to less than half that at 6%.
It's amazing.
5.8%, yeah. So the market has responded by being up this morning. Not a lot, but it's up by about 100 points. So because not as many jobs were added as they expected, I think that held it back, but it's still up and moving.
What do you guys think about there's reports that are out there about there's a lot of people who are refusing to go back into their office because they were able to work from home. Do you, I'm not mad at the people. If I'm able to do a job from my house, and I've proven over the last 16 months that I could be more productive at home than I am in an office setting, why do I need to spend the time and the money to commute to an office?
Yeah, so I think it depends on who gets to make that call as to productivity. If it's really as simple as like looking at results and going, hey, look, I'm more productive while working from home, I think you have a real case there. But if you just go, well, why should I have to go into the office now when not everyone does? Or if I can just choose to stay home and you're not as productive? Because let's be honest, we work with some people who just never show up, and they're not nearly as productive as they could be.
Yeah, I mean, but those are those people. But somehow they're still more productive than what they were in the actual office.
I'm not saying that I want them to come back to the office because those people are just generally kind of annoying to me to begin with.
I just think it's interesting. I even though the economy's on its way back, but we're not fully back to pre-corona levels just yet. But the fact that people are walking away from jobs, going, you know what? I can work from home, and there's a lot of businesses out there that have shown that I can, and they want to hire people to work from home because they don't want to keep the overhead of office spaces. I'm here for it. I think if we look at the silver lining that could come from Corona, it's the remote work, and you can be anywhere, and that you're not tied to a single place. So I
think that's a huge upside, right? Like especially if you think about somebody that's dealing with a real life situation that's not pleasant, like let's say
kids or something.
They have sick parents or whatever, and you need to take care of them, but you're able to now move to, instead of having to start your whole career over to figure out what you're going to do in mom and dad's hometown while you're caring for them, you can continue to do the job that you maybe know and love. Yeah. You don't have to give that up, and you can still take care of aging parents or whatever it may be.
So one thing we do know is that, especially through the pandemic, is corporations are always going to take care of themselves first over their
strange,
people.
Because normally they just look out for the little guy.
So the only thing that I would get nervous about this, people standing up for their abilities to work remotely, would be then the corporations saying, well, we're going to give you a salary cut then.
Yeah, we're just going to
because you're not having to commute.
In the convenience. But that's been going on forever, too. It's like all the places in the country that have great weather year-round. There's a joke.
Pay in sunshine.
Pay in sunshine,
yeah. No thanks.
It's garbage.
I'd rather get paid in money.
And finally, can I have both? Thank you. And finally, the Encore Las Vegas is saying that they have a new dog-friendly resort program with exclusive amenities for four-legged friends. Encore guests can stay in any room or suite with up to 2 dogs. Only dogs 35 pounds and under will be permitted, but dogs must also be leashed at all times on property.
You're fat-shaming dogs now?
It's not fat-shaming.
You're fat-shaming dogs?
No, just don't show up with your 9 Rottweilers.
Just because my dachshund is a little bit heavy, he's not gonna. You're gonna.
You don't have a dachshund.
In my mind, I do. You don't.
You don't know how he identifies.
And if you have a 35-pound dachshund,
he has an invisible.
His back broke.
It's a big wiener dog.
Every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
The David Mahoney Morning Show.
So what is that item that maybe was in your family at one point or is still in your family that has some value to it? And maybe it's not something where it's worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just something that's really special to you guys. But, we hear these stories all the time about items going to auction. And I'm like, how on earth did it fetch that much? And a recent example of that is the NFTs, right? Like that Charlie Bit My Finger one sold for $750,000.
Those are ridiculous.
And you're like, how is somebody paying that much for that? And Mahoney, you have the long-standing idea that many of these transactions are just a way for rich people to launder money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stand by that. We'll stand by that till the day I die.
But one thing that I think back on when I was a kid, when it comes to things that had great value, is we were all big basketball fans when we were younger.
I thought you were going to say a Ronald Reagan commemorative plate.
I did not have any Ronald Reagan commemorative plates.
That you'd put up on
the wall?
Sure
did want one, though. Oh,
you got the Pope, too?
Yeah, real nice.
Right next to
real
Jesus.
Nice.
No, you don't
had a
put
Jesus plate?
You don't put Jesus on a plate.
We had a Jesus painting. We had a Jesus painting.
Oh, excuse me. No Jesus plates allowed.
We collected a lot of basketball cards, and if you think back to when I was a kid, that was like the heyday for basketball, right? The Magic Johnsons and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan was coming around at that time. I mean, there's a lot of really amazing players, and I had a very impressive. I'm talking about probably 500 to 1,000, somewhere in that range, basketball cards that I kept in mint condition.
What happened to those?
My brothers also had big basketball card collections, and all of us brothers got together and we got all of our basketball cards and we traded every last one for a single Atari.
An Atari?
We didn't have an Atari, and we had some friends that had an Atari.
Couldn't have been a Nintendo?
It was before the Nintendo came out. It was when the Atari had dropped.
I don't think this was before the Nintendo. Nintendo came out in 83, man.
Did it come out in 83?
Yes.
Okay, so before the Nintendos made their way to rural Minnesota where I was living.
Fair enough.
I didn't know about that. I'd never played a Nintendo before. I distinctly remember like a friend got a Nintendo, but I was like 10 or 11 when I remember that
And
happening.
Atari was still the big thing, I'm sure. Okay.
Well, but I remember going over to this friend's house and they had Mr. Pac-Man on the Atari. And we were it was when you used to have to hook it up on those two little prongs in the back of the TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
You
On
got
the
that
UHF?
weird thing?
Yeah. And we could not have made the transaction faster.
I was going to say, who scammed you guys?
It was this other family of little boys that had two Ataris. They had a second Atari. They didn't even give us their good Atari. They gave us the crappy one.
Of course they gave you the crappy Atari.
And it was worth it. I'd do it again.
Would you really?
I mean, not in hindsight knowing what those cards would be worth today, but still. Speaking of cards, because trading cards have gone nuts. That's one of the things that the value has
Blown
gone.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, Pokemon cards have gone absolutely insane in the last 2 years.
Kyle said when he was a kid, my uncle had a stack of baseball cards that included Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Sandy Koufax, and many more, and he kept them in mint condition. I say he had because his brother ripped each and every one of them up into tiny confetti pieces. And the reasoning for this is his brother one day refused to share his bicycle with him. Today, those cards would be worth tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you ever used to take a clothespin and some baseball cards and put them in your spokes on your bike?
Yep.
So you could sound like a badass biker?
Oh, we would put like cans, like Diet Coke cans.
But do you know what the one
it would
card
always be
for us
Cubs
was?
players for me.
It was Mark McGwire's rookie card. Because Mark McGwire, when he was a rookie, was terrible. He played for the Oakland A's, and he was awful and skinny before he found the steroids. And
Dave, he just started working hard.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Did he win Rookie of the Year that year?
No, it's the grindstone.
No, but his actual stats on his rookie card, garbage, right? And so before we had any idea of how good he would become, that was actually like the joke card where we'd be sitting there trading with friends, like, oh, I'll give you this Mark McGwire. And sure enough, I remember Mark McGwire ended up in bike spokes, not once but twice.
I had that same. I'm looking at his rookie card.
He's so skinny, isn't he? Doesn't he look teeny?
That old school. I love those tops that had like the wood background.
Yeah,
you know,
Yep.
just that was especially a look. But yeah.
Joy said my sister had a mint condition New Kids on the Block set of merch, and we ended up burning it on the ranch in the early 2000s because we didn't know they were going to make a comeback.
I don't know if that one was going to sell for anything.
I don't think
Jordan
so either,
Knight and one of the Wahlbergs, was it Donnie who was in New Kids on the Block?
I think it was
Were
Mark.
they both of them? No, Mark.
Oh, yeah, it was both of them.
Marky Mark and
he wasn't
Donnie.
in New Kids on the Block.
He wasn't?
He had his own separate thing.
I thought he was in New Kids on the Block too.
He wasn't.
No?
It was
If I
like Joey
close my
McIntyre,
eyes-
Jordan Knight, Donnie Wahlberg, and then those other two guys
So
that we
Mahoney,
can't remember.
there would have been value to it because you would have bought it. Yeah.
No, I
You
wouldn't.
know so much about it.
I can't name all 5
Let
members
me
of
ask
New
you,
Kids on the Block.
Have you ever been to a New Kids on the Block concert?
I have not.
Oh.
I don't think I have. Maybe I have.
Ian just got so hyped in there.
I like New
vibing
Kids.
with that.
I like it. See, it's a niche market, but it's there. So don't burn your New Kids memorabilia, please.
Was Marky Mark in it?
No, Marky Mark was not a New Kid on the Block.
He was a rapper.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
He
in his
was
Calvin
Marky Mark
underwear.
and the Funky Bunch.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Mahoney's right. Yeah.
Ooh, listen to this. Angela in La Jolla said, when my grandma passed away, we went over to her house to help clean it out and found that she had 200 porcelain dolls in the basement. I only remember seeing them about once when I was a kid. As you can imagine, she didn't want us around them because we'd break them. Turns out this is the whole strange group of porcelain doll collectors that are nuts about them. and she had some rare ones, and the total haul brought in more than $126,000.
Wow.
Could not believe it.
Follow the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show on social media at Dave and Mahoney.
So you never really know, like, the stuff that your parents have that they claim, it's worth a lot if it actually is, unless you, go take it and get it appraised, right? This one is funny, though. This is from Candy. She said, my ex-husband held on to this Stradivarius violin that his mom claimed to be worth a ton of money, and some of those violins are actually worth...
if it's an actual Stradivarius,
Yeah. He recently opened it, and it was just the case with some old memorabilia inside of it.
No. What a tease.
Like, you didn't open that before that?
Hey, if that's a Strat case, though, those are still worth some money, too. So maybe you have something there.
Maybe. This one texted over to us at 833-YO-DUMMY from 678. My mom had these 2 carved Italian Renaissance benches that were built in the late 1800s, and they have been in the family since the 1800s, supposedly worth about $10,000.
We have some old furniture like that my parents swear up and down that's got to be worth a ton of money because they don't make them like this anymore. And I'm like, but who is going to buy eventually any of this furniture? It's heavier than mess. And it looks old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's into the modern stuff now. Nobody's wanting just giant, large, chunky furniture.
I took my mom, what was it, last week or the week before, we went to a jewelry store to get some stuff appraised. Because, my mom has all this jewelry, family stuff from over the years, and she's like, I don't wear jewelry. She works out in her garden literally every day, doesn't wear rings. She's even took her wedding engagement ring from back in the day and was like, I just don't I don't wear it anymore because she literally works with her hands all day long. And there was 20 or 30 pieces of jewelry in there, and it's amazing how little jewelry is worth. The only thing that's worth anything, diamonds, you don't get crap for diamonds unless it's a carat plus.
Right.
But gold is the only thing. And even then, all this jewelry, it was $600. And she's like, I remember paying $600 for one ring, 30 years ago.
Doesn't appreciate.
Does not.
No, not at all.
Might as well just keep it at that point.
Well, she took it and she's making it into a pendant. So she'll
okay.
wear it around.
That's cool. Yeah.
But she's, it's just the ludicrous amounts of money that we spend on jewelry that we think it might have some money.
It's going to hold its value. It's going to go up. No, it's not. This is funny. My grandfather gave my dad a meteorite during one of his visits. My dad was convinced it was worth a ton of money. Never had it tested, and it just sat on our mantle for almost 25 years now.
That's like a Joe Dirt move. You just got a piece of poop on your mantle.
This one also from the same person said, I worked at a bank and was obsessed with $2 bills, so I ordered some for the branch for me to buy. Our vault sent me $200 strap of $2 bills when they were in mint condition, and they all had the star notes with a portion of them in the serial number in sequential order. I bought them immediately, didn't tell anyone about what I'd found. The $200 worth of $2 bills is worth a minimum of $3,500, as much as $10,000. I won't sell it as they keep increasing in value, so a special gift to my kids when I die. Best $200 investment I ever did in my early 20s.
You got to tell your kids about that.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is they're going to go to the Rhino and just blow them all.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Dad left us $200.
Neat.
And $2 bills. Everybody's going to think it's fake.
This is kind of sad. Marty said, this breaks my heart. My grandfather brought back a beautiful set of fine china when he came back from the Korean War. It was given to my mother for her 16th birthday. She kept it in mint condition until her unfortunate passing at 56. When I flew home to collect her belongings, I found out my crackhead cousin had stole it and sold it for $200.
Oh,
it was actually priceless to me, but I'm sure it was worth more than a hit of meth.
So this is actually all making me remember. Did you guys ever get bonds whenever you were babies?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're supposed to obviously appreciate
bonds
over
do
time.
Appreciate, yeah.
Well, I got one whenever I was a kid from, I can't even remember which artist, but somebody was like, hey, probably trying to smooge my dad at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's this bond for your daughter. And I should have just kept it, never touched it. But I was so broke in college that I cashed that out to go to spring break.
Worth it. Worth it.
And I think about that all the time. And I'm like, I can't even remember what artist it was because I gave it away.
That's
and I think
hilarious.
it was just for it only appreciated for $100 or something, $200 at the time because it hadn't been that long.
But you got $200 out of it.
Yeah, they got there and back for spring break.
This one is from Derek in Southern Highlands. My uncle was in the casino business back in the 70s and helped to renovate a whole bunch of properties. He had a big storage unit that was full of old slot machines, and he always had people coming by to see them. He ended up selling a couple to different museums and private buyers. I don't know exactly how much he got, but he ended up buying himself a kick-ass 40-foot RV, a big boat he kept in Newport Beach, and lived large in retirement because of it. Good for him.
Hell yeah.
You got just a warehouse of old slot machines that are garbage to most people, but
I mean,
priceless to others.
You refurb them, yeah, or just, I mean, like vintage slot machines right now.
They're in every basement everywhere. I feel like every time you go into some dude's dude cave,
When
you get like
some,
a one
when
road.
some random guy is a land surveyor comes into money, he's always like, "Give me an old slot machine. I'm going to put it in my basement."
Listen live on demandotherradio.com app and follow at Dave and Mahoney.
So the question that we have for you today at 833-YO-DUMMY is, what is that piece of memorabilia that maybe is still in your family, maybe it was in your family years ago, that you really prize? Like maybe it's not worth a ton of money, but it's that special thing to you. Or maybe it is worth a whole bunch of money. Warren on our Facebook at Dave Mahoney said, "My garbage pail kid collection is worth a pretty penny now, LOL." But he posted a picture of it. Look at all of those garbage pail kids, and
that's like all of them.
They're in the sleeves and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what garbage pail kids are?
Them.
I've heard about them. They were a little bit before me. Yeah.
They're kind of back.
They're sort of back, but I mean, when we were kids, they were, at least for me, they were forbidden because they were so filthy.
Yeah,
it's like these kids just vomiting
Atomic
everywhere.
Adam.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
that's
God.
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was hilarious to us because we were in grade school at the time.
But the artwork on them was always really good.
It was very Mad Magazine-esque, if you remember that from back in the day. But Robert said a 1970 Ford Mustang 428 Super Cobra jet convertible. And let me tell you, when that thing fires up, it is a magical, tingly feeling.
Oh, wow.
I love some classic Mustangs, man.
With a Hemi.
Look at that thing. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, wow. That is
it's like
gorgeous.
canary yellow with the black racing stripes, the drop top on it, and it looks like it is in great condition. Samara in Forest Acres said when my dad was moving, we were helping him, and there was this old trunk in his garage, and it was heavy as hell. I asked him what was in it, and he said he couldn't remember. It was his dad's from many years ago. We decided to open it because we didn't want to load it into the moving truck if it was just full of junk. Turns out it was a bunch of crazy old Civil War memorabilia.
Wow.
Some of it was really unique, and some of it was one of a kind. Old guns, uniform patches, and bayonets. Dad didn't want to sell it because of the family history, but he ended up getting it appraised, and they estimated it would get $350,000 at auction.
Yeah, you hold on to that. I mean, that's really cool. Absolutely.
That's nearly a half. That's like life change that you can like pay off your house. You know?
I mean, if it's something that your family members fought in war in a battle.
Well, wait,
I mean, if they fought in
if it was his
that's
uniform.
what it was.
No,
he just had it. Yeah.
Maybe he was just a collector of it.
Okay, well then that's totally different.
Totally different. You're right. Like if he actually if
it had his name stitched on the uniform.
Yeah, you can't sell like your actual Pappy Pap's uniform.
I mean, $350,000? Sure I can.
There's a price on it.
Sure I can.
Speaking of cars, Bobby from Troy said, still one of the coolest things to ever happen to me. My dad and grandpa conspired to give me a really amazing gift for my 25th birthday. They saved my grandpa's old car, which is a 1974 Camaro SS in absolute perfect condition. Only had about 30,000 miles on it and was perfectly cared for. He kept it in dry storage so it'd be a surprise. And they waited until I turned 25 because they knew my dumbass would have wrecked it at 16 or 21. Still have that beauty to this day. What a gift.
Yeah, getting 16-year-old brand new cars is absolutely
not even
ridiculous.
a brand new car, but a
sweet car,
a classic car that has been cared for decades.
Yeah, did I ever tell you about how my buddy Nathan, when we were in high school, his dad let him drive his classic BMW. It was a 3 Series convertible, and his dad had kept it in perfect condition, and he loved that car so much. And we were in high school, and Nathan was flying along one day and lost control and spun out into the trees and wrecked the whole thing.
Is it a very weird
He'd
thing
had it since college, perfect condition.
to have your 16-year-old attempt to be like the coolest 16-year-old of the bunch with a brand new car?
My kid's
I feel like that's so odd.
You got to get my kid's getting a minivan. Like I had to drive a minivan when I was in high school for a while. Like
I'm gonna try to find that same minivan with the wood paneling on the side,
Dodge
and that's
Caravan,
what you were driving.
like a '93 Dodge Caravan.
It doesn't matter. Like for me, my first car, it was a 1982 Honda Civic hatchback that was the color of an egg.
They're gonna beat it up.
I didn't care what car it was. It was freedom, man.
Yeah, you could just move. It's the only thing better than like a bike back in the day.
Yep. All right, final one for you. Donnie in Phoenix Hills said, this is pretty funny, gross, profitable. When my grandpa was getting close to the end, he actually pulled me close and said, check the bottom 3 boxes in the attic. There's something I want you to have in there. So after he passed, I went in and found the boxes that he was talking about. After moving some stuff around, I discovered that there's 3 large boxes all full of nudie magazines.
Hell yeah.
And I think this is hilarious and a little odd that he want me to find these. So I picked one up, opened it up to take a gander at one of those all natural 70s babes. And that is when I found his hidden stamp collection. I was able to sell them for almost $40,000.
Wow.
But what I think was really great is that he knew that I was a perv enough that I was going to go through the magazines to check out the naked chicks and find the stamps. My grandpa was the best.
Maybe they're having some kind of transmitting trouble. Why don't we phone the station?
Got a comment, complaint, or opinion for the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show? Leave the good stuff on our voicemail. 833-YO-DUMMY. Again, 833-YO-DUMMY.
Please leave a message after the tone.
I have this local bar I've been going to for about 4 years now. I really like Cheers because I walk in there and I know everyone and everyone knows me. Anyways, I brought a group of friends there a while back and we had a good time. They went back without me a couple nights ago and complained about the service to the manager and requested their tip back. First of all, not cool. And second of all, what the hell?
Message deleted. No, somebody can't do that ever.
No.
There's no way you can request a tip back. Even if the server walks over and punches you in the nuts, you don't get to ask for the tip
I mean,
back.
I may ask for the tip back if you punch me in the nuts.
No, but
I mean,
also
I'll maybe ask for my meal
his,
to be refunded.
That's his local bar, and your friends are going back and asking for their tip back when you guys were all hanging out together at this guy's local watering hole. That's messed up, man.
They went in another time, right?
Yeah, but he's saying they went back and asked for their tip back from the time when they were all together.
Oh, I thought you meant from that night of service.
Either way, it sucks, but definitely not if they went back and asked for the tip back when they were all together.
You can't bring. I mean, I feel like that's on you. You should know your friends better than that.
Yeah.
Like you knew this isn't like an outside the lines behavior. This is something that you probably knew that they were capable of.
Yeah, if you have a friend that's capable of that, you gotta ice him out.
You can't
be friends. Not as an adult. Like I get when you're 21 years old, and I don't know how old that guy is. Like people do stupid stuff.
Yeah,
because they haven't learned. If you're in your 30s or older, never. It's inexcusable.
If you treat people who work in the service industry like garbage, you are a piece of garbage.
So I was sitting behind for lunch, this awful customer who just complained about everything. Actually just like last week with my husband and I were out to lunch. And this guy was just like, what kind of broccoli is this? I requested no broccoli. Oh, there's no tofu. I requested this. Like just being really rude to the waitress. And you could tell he was clearly on like maybe first or second date. And I looked at my husband and I said, that might be one of the most unattractive things just to showcase how you treat people.
I would be done
on a second date or
on
a
any
first date.
You can't marry somebody. You
So
can't be friends with people like
we
that.
can all agree. If you go out with somebody and they treat the wait staff or the bartender, whatever it may be, like garbage on an early date, that's a deal breaker for me. Because I worked in the service industry for many years.
We all did.
And yeah, it's a tough gig, right? It's a thankless job. You're making next to nothing, especially from the house, right? It's all based on tips, and you're probably pretty busy if you're making any money at all, and you don't have time to deal with some bitch who's complaining about the broccoli.
Well, this guy ended up being like, yeah, I want a whole new meal. So he was eating his meal. And the reason why I even heard any of this is because he was screaming it the entire time.
Yeah.
And then complaining loudly to this girl who he's with. So everybody in the restaurant could hear, request a whole second meal, and then was like, thanks so much. I would like it boxed. So he got a whole second meal for free to take home.
Oof.
I was like, this feels scheming.
Have you ever had a family member that does that sort of thing?
I'm lucky that like my mom and dad are not. My dad was in the service industry, his whole life. So he's not that way, but like I always kind of like worry about like your older like family members.
I had an uncle that was like that. Every time we'd go out to eat, he was always so rude to the wait staff, and it makes my skin crawl just being at the same table as someone that's acting like that.
The association of that.
Yeah,
like the same thing with like if you go out to lunch with like a group of people and somebody's like, I got it, and then they like leave a really bad tip too.
Not acceptable.
Or like,
man.
I got the tip, and I'm like, no, man, like you do not have the tip.
You are a notoriously bad tipper.
Yes.
Never.
Especially when it's like, like if you see me out and you're like, hey, are you Mahoney from the Dave Mahoney Morning Show? Your tip just got quadrupled.
Oh,
that's the worst. When you think you're going to get out of there with just a regular 20% tip, and then they're like, hey, man, just want to let you know, I love the show. And you're like, damn it.
No, I like it, man.
You do?
I do. I appreciate anybody who listens. And
you saw somebody like for 20 seconds the other day and tipped him a hundo.
Yeah, I was drunk.
Please leave a message after the tone.
What's the ugliest part of the human body, in your opinion?
Tongues are pretty gross.
Message deleted.
Nuts. The ugliest part of the human body, it's definitely the scrot.
Nuts and wieners.
It's not even the whole package down there.
Yeah,
There's nothing attractive about it.
It's alienish.
Yeah. It
Why
is,
does it stick out like that?
It is funny to me how, like, guys, like, I never get over it with, like, even seeing my wife naked. Like, she's getting in or out of the shower and just, like, going about her normal life. I'm always, like, checking that out. I'm like, yeah, girl.
Women look beautiful.
I'm
We
like,
have
yes.
awesome parts.
I can sit there and
Why
be
do
doing the
girls-
helicopter and she won't even glance over because there's nothing attractive
Why
about
would we look when you're helicoptering?
Because it's hilarious.
No.
And sexy.
Okay.
Coming in for
I
landing,
don't want to
girl.
see myself naked. Like, I don't. Like, oh, God, I got to look at myself out of the shower. It's like I go grab a towel immediately and cover up. I'm like, oh, it's like a train wreck down there.
While we're on the topic, I mean, for real though, the because you guys said sack.
Yeah.
That is probably the weirdest thing ever. Like just calling it the sack because it holds things that are inside.
Yeah. I mean, everything about it.
And it moves. Everything moves down there.
Yeah, oh,
it
yeah.
goes in, it goes out.
It's very alien looking.
Yeah.
Especially like when if you ever looked at it while it's like being affected by temperature, it's just like it's creepy,
alien.
man.
It's like you have like an innie outie belly button at all times, but it's on your thing.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey guys, I heard Ian talking about aliens and UFOs and a lot of sightings and things going on lately. Well, all you guys have to do, you want to learn about that, is watch Debris, the show Debris, which is off right now. It's on a break, but you can watch it on Netflix.
Message deleted.
Yeah, that's Mary. She clues us into what's going on. So Mary, for those of you that don't know, is very connected to the extraterrestrial world. In fact, she actually has a subway that goes exclusively underneath her bedroom that she only hears while she's sleeping.
Goes to Area 51.
It goes directly to Area 51.
Yeah.
So, Mary is our source when it comes to knowing what's going on with the outside world. So, we need to take this seriously, guys. This is a real tip. If we want to know what Mary knows, we need to watch Netflix.
You just saw that the government came out and said that those were not UFOs.
No,
government finds no evidence of alien spacecraft.
They say that there is no evidence of alien spacecraft, but there is no evidence of them not being alien spacecraft.
So only Obama and Mary know what's going on with all these aliens.
And Harry Reid.
And the showrunners for Debris.
Yes, and Harry Mary.
What about that guy who's
and
like
Harry Carey
aliens
and Mary Carey
with the hair? Who's the meme?
What?
On History Channel?
Oh, the Ancient Aliens guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Maybe that guy.
Maybe that guy.
Bad news, Debris has been canceled.
Oh, it has?
After one season. I'm sorry.
She's like,
They
it's on
knew
a
too
break.
much. They knew too
that,
much.
Was that the one that was super expensive? They spent like $200 million on it or whatever?
No, I don't. No.
That was a different one?
That was a different
That's
one.
the other one with Josh Duhamel. Which why would you cast Josh Duhamel as the lead in a $200 million show?
You put Fergie's husband on a $200 million project? What are you thinking,
They
man?
still married?
I don't think so.
No?
Nope. Type.
I'm
Mahoney.
typing Fergie.
Oh, God.
No, so they got divorced in 2019, Dave. So you are behind the times.
Fergie is back on the market.
So is Josh Duhamel.
Oh.
And looking for work now, apparently.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So could weed help with migraines? Researchers at UC San Diego are launching the first ever placebo-controlled study into the effects of marijuana on migraines. According to the CDC, migraines affect about 15.3% of the U.S. population. Oof. I mean, look, this is cool that they're studying this, and obviously they know a lot more than I do. They say the patients don't know which one is which, so one will give them some help with some THC. The other one will be a THC-CBD mixture, one of them with CBD, and then there'll also be a placebo in effect as well. So participants cannot already be regular marijuana or opioid users, so they have to be to get a real honest assessment for people that aren't using one or the other. But the problem that I have with this study is that if they come out and they go, oh yeah, weed helps with migraines, like the times when I get migraines where it's really massively inconvenient is if I'm at work.
Yeah.
And I can't get
Start
high.
toking up.
Well, if you could take CBD or something like that, right?
CBD,
Yeah, but
sure.
CBD, but are they talking about the cannabis of, the THC?
Yeah, but CBD and you probably know better than I do, Ian, right? Is that CBD doesn't get you high at all,
No.
right?
Yeah, two completely different things there. One, they're both cannabinoids. It's just, unfortunately, CBD is non-psychoactive, so it just doesn't make you feel all
Yeah, you don't
weird.
have the THC in there.
Yep. So,
But it does make you feel a certain kind of way, though, like relaxed.
Well, I mean, kind of.
For some people,
it relieves pain.
Yeah, it's like taking like an
Advil.
Tylenol. Yeah, or something like that. You
So,
don't really
but
feel
the only thing, though, and this might actually be me just choosing the wrong type of strain, but I swear I get all kinds of hangover effects if I smoke weed.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like so edibles are different for me. I don't feel that way unless I'm doing if I'm actually smoking. Smoking and chewing, I guess, are totally different types of highs for me.
But you get a hangover from it, huh?
The feeling of it, my head is just so sensitive that literally an hour in, I'll still be high and all of a sudden I got a headache.
You'll get a headache while high?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the whole that's like a whole new subcategory of people. It's just you're not trying the right weed.
Is it when you
That's
smoke
what I'm
weed,
saying. People
or
are always
what if
saying
you
that I'm doing
vape?
the wrong. So the
Or
pens,
edibles.
the pens.
Yeah, the vape pens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the grass doesn't actually make me feel that way, but it's the pens. But the pens are so much more convenient.
I don't like the pens. I like old school.
Yes.
Who's got time to be rolling joints and
No,
stuff?
I just use a pipe.
Yeah.
I got a pipe, man. I've had a pipe since I was 17.
A corn
you still
cob
have,
pipe?
You still have the corn
still
cob
have
pipe?
it? I don't have a corn cob pipe. I saw a guy
Where
with
do
a
you
corn
keep?
cob.
Where do you keep your bowl at?
Where, in my office?
You do?
Yeah. Cool. Next to all the
Are you
150
shocked
bottles.
too? I
didn't know
Next
this.
to 150 bottles of bourbon that I have.
Why is Mahoney out? I'm shook.
Because I've had a pipe since I
Mahoney
was
used to be a
kid.
bigger stoner than both you guys.
Okay, not Mahoney. Yeah, no way.
Hold on, man. Come on.
Believe me.
Ian's got
Every
9
si-
6
I
foot
liked it when it
bombs.
was illegal. I felt dangerous. Now,
And
it's
now
illegal.
you're just
I don't-
boring.
now-
It's an
Yeah, now it's milk.
Mahoney's just smoking meth. He doesn't even like it. He's just doing it because it's illegal. So a Las Vegas condo just sold for a record price, $16.25 million.
Somebody got ripped off.
So it's the penthouse at the Martin. If you're not familiar with the Martin, right across from Las Vegas Boulevard on the 15 are the Panorama Towers, and then there's the other one that doesn't face the same direction.
Yeah.
It faces north and south. That third tower, that's the Martin, and the Martin is definitely nicer than the Panorama Towers. But $16.25 million is a lot of money. So the penthouse sits on
in a I get if
in a
you're
condo
paying
tower.
$16 million in New York, but in Las Vegas, no. That you have just set that money on fire.
I mean, that's like the price of that house that Alicia Keys bought in La Jolla. That looks like a
I
hotel.
think she paid like 24 for
yeah,
that.
I mean,
but
a
that's-
little bit more, but not that much.
But
But
it was
has-
one of them. Well, I mean, what do they call it? The Edge or whatever it
Has
was.
an
the
oceanfront
Razor
view.
House.
Razor House,
Yeah.
and that's one of the best looking houses I've ever seen in my life, and it's amazing.
On a cliff overlooking water.
And
So
the
this-
design is
Yeah.
I mean, this penthouse is incredible, right? It's 13,000 square feet inside. It's got a 2,000 square foot balcony and outer space, and it's got amazing views. I guess if you just have screw you money, then maybe, right? It's got great
You
views of
lived
the
in a
entire
tower
balcony.
for a while, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool for a month, and then I was totally over it.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is definitely not large enough at all for it to be 17 million. I'm sitting here looking at pictures, and yes, it's beautiful, but I mean,
In
this
New
just looks
York,
like a regular
sure.
condo that you would get for a couple million. Yeah, in New York,
You're
Chicago.
paying over $1,000 a square foot.
I mean, this
That's
thing
nuts.
is pretty small. I'm sorry to whoever bought that.
They just
Must be a
have
big old
guys,
bachelor.
Guys, it does have Sub-Zero appliances. So
Okay.
a private wine room,
Yeah.
a game room and a bar, a custom 12-foot bar that is in there as well, and an 800-gallon saltwater fish tank with exotic fish.
I mean, you can buy a house in on the bird streets in L.A., or in some of the most exclusive neighborhoods in the world for that kind of money and be way bigger and still cheaper.
Here's the thing. If I'm paying $16.25 million for a property, I do not want to ever see or
Anybody.
hear anyone.
Yes.
This is a socialite.
Can
This
you
is a
imagine
socialite.
having to share an elevator with a drunk tourist if you just dropped almost $17 million?
You know they're Airbnb-ing that place out?
They better.
How
No, I
old
mean-
do you think these people are?
I don't know.
I think that they're probably some hedge fund 36-year-old guy from New York. That's what it feels like to
Martin
me.
Scarella is the guy, that douchebag
Martin
who bought
Scarella.
the Wu-Tang.
No,
thing
it's
and jacked up the prices
it's
of
probably
insulin.
that douche from WeWork, whatever that guy's name is.
It's a
Adam.
Paul brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a Paul
totally.
brother.
Because another detail in this, it also came with a fossil and rock collection.
$1 million
Worth $1
fossil
million.
and rock collection, yeah.
That came with the condo.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a Paul brother. They don't care about fossils.
No, it's a douche. It's a hippie.
It probably is one of the Paul brothers. They're going to try to snort it.
You think it's like a crystal?
And finally, super jets are about to become a reality. So I don't
Super
know-
jets?
Yeah, I don't know if you
What
guys
is a
have
super
heard about
jet?
these, but they're the new. They're called the Concorde and United Airlines.
Wait, Dave, no. Concorde's been around since the 80s, man.
Oh no, these are this is Concorde with an E. It's
No,
different.
I know. The Concorde was it's a supersonic jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not new.
But these are new.
But
they're not buying 80s super jets.
The Concorde was you could travel from New York to London in an hour.
No, man.
It was a thing in the 80s, man.
They never existed.
Yes, the Concorde was a very famous plane thing.
Why is this saying that it's brand new?
Well, maybe this one's different, but they're calling it the same thing. Like supersonic air travel's not.
It's supersonic air travel, and they're saying that they just bought a number of 15 of these Overture jets and an option to buy 35 more, and they're saying that you're not going to be able to get from New York to London in an hour, but you can get from New York to London in 3.5 hours, which is way better
so it's
than
way slower.
Which is way better than the 8 hours. But I'm here for it, man. I would for sure get on one of these.
It's 8 hours from London to New York? No.
Anything
from Las Vegas to London, and I feel like it didn't take that long.
Maybe I'm thinking from the West Coast to London. It's a total
I feel like
8
that's
hours.
like 8 hours.
Either way, they're saying 3.5 hours. So the Mach speed of Mach 1.7, twice the speed of today's fastest airlines.
Oh, so what? My Gillette razor's faster? It's Mach 5. Also a song from the President of the United States of America. It's a jam.
We're done here.
It's the movie quote quiz on the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show.
So the movie quote quiz, nice little dash of nostalgia here, but because Audrey has not been on this earth as long as Mahoney, and Mahoney refers to himself as a cinephile.
Don't sniff and say that. I'm a man who's taken college-level classes appreciating cinema, Dave.
See?
It's actually what led me into radio. To tell you the truth, it did. I took a class. I took a history
Just
of
so
cinema
you could
class.
play this game and
took a
beat
history
Audrey,
of cinema
yeah.
class.
Uh-huh.
That guy also was the broadcast professor at the community college that I worked at, and he was like, you know what, you'd be probably pretty good taking this class, and that's how I got in.
If you're chatting along today in real time, wrong answers only for these, but here's how this game works. I've got movie quotes, and they're very short, so most of them like 5 to 10 seconds of these movies. And even if you know the movie well, sometimes it's difficult to figure out what it is in just 10 seconds of hearing a clip. But Audrey, you've been around for a lot longer or a lot less time than Mahoney.
less
So
time.
you get to choose if you go first or second on the first one. And you also get a lifeline. You can tag me in on one of them if you choose to.
Okay.
Okay. First or second on the first one?
First.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so I'll play the quote for you. If you want to hear it again, no problem, but you only have 5 seconds to figure it out after that, okay? Here we go on quote number 1. Good luck.
The Sultan of Swat. The King of Crash. The Colossus of Clout. The Colossus of Clout. Babe Ruth. The Great Bambino.
Sandlot.
Sandlot, for sure. Well done,
That is
Audrey.
correct.
So easy.
Very nice.
On the board with one.
Softballs. Also, why do you call softballs softballs? They are not soft.
They're not soft
you
at all,
get hit
yeah.
with a softball, that is going to hurt.
Yeah. Again, wrong answers only in the chat, please. Here we go on to number 2.
R.I.P. Beast.
Now, eventually, you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello? Hello? Yes?
I really hate that man.
One of the finest actors of a generation, and also in many commercials these days.
So many.
The lovely Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Which one?
That is correct.
The first one.
Yes.
He wasn't in the second one.
He was the second one. Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
he
entire
was-
the
Was he
whole
in the
premise of
was he? I
the
just
second movie was about Jeff Goldblum.
I just remember Vince Vaughn.
Here we go. On to number 3. Audrey, you're up first.
I will fear no hunger. We want you to give us this day our daily bread, and to the republic for which it stands. And by the power invested in me, I pronounce us ready to eat.
The finest actress of her generation, is Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act.
Which one?
2? I don't know. I've never seen either of them. I just
No.
know it's Sister Act.
Yeah,
She said Sister Act too.
Sister Act.
She said Sister Act too.
And then
You said Sister Act
You
too.
don't get to interrupt.
Yeah,
You're
what are
not
you
an
doing?
officiant of this
Oh,
game.
yes,
You are-
I am. You're over here
get on the
cheating
bench.
and colluding
That's not
against
colluding.
me. She said Sister. Who guessed Sister Act 2?
She was joking, obviously. She said Sister Act. That is the correct
and then
one.
you said which one, and then you made her think about it. What the hell
Whatever.
are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
Mahoney's losing is what he's doing.
I've never seen either of those movies, but I've heard that they're great.
Lauren Hill was in it.
Which
Was
one?
Two.
Yes.
Which one, 2? All right, here we go. On to number 4.
Lars, shouldn't you be watching the kids?
Oh, don't worry, I have them on the body system.
Body system?
Yeah, have a look.
Buddy!
Oh, I think I know.
Play that again.
Okay, Mahoney has 5 seconds to figure it out after this plays a second time.
Lars, shouldn't you be watching the kids?
Oh, don't worry, I have them on the body system.
Body system?
Yeah, have a look.
Buddy!
5 seconds.
Is that Angus?
No.
What?
Okay, this is going to be a total shot in the dark. Is it Heavyweights?
Yeah!
Wow! Wow.
Spank today, baby.
What, did somebody in chat say that? Is that what
No.
No.
Stop thinking that everyone's cheating just because she's beating your ass.
Colluding against me.
Audrey, you want to try for this fifth one just for the fun of it?
Sure.
Already dunked on him.
Children, what are you doing?
I'm going to electrocute him.
But we're late for the charity auction.
But, Mother...
I said no.
Please?
Oh, all right.
Is that oh gosh, the it's like the Addams Family movie?
Yeah, sure enough.
Wow.
Audrey, just,
Holy cow.
wow, not even close. How embarrassing, Mahoney.
Okay,
You're
I got
the worst.
4 out of
You're
5.
the worst.
You have 4 out of 5?
Here's what's making news.
So, in some personal news for Audrey, her brother-in-law has finally moved out of the house after how many months?
Cool.
5.
5 months.
Yes.
5 months. Congratulations.
5 months you let somebody
Did
else
he
live in your
leave you
house.
like a nice card or anything to say thank you for?
No.
He didn't?
No.
Oh, that's
Nope. He
gift is
just
him-
left. Actually,
the gift
I
is
was
him just leaving.
Yeah, you know what? I'll
The
take that.
emptiness.
I'll take that as my goodbye.
yeah.
The best parting gift is you not coming back.
Didn't even say goodbye, huh?
No, I was
That's-
sitting on the couch too. I
You're
was
right-
like, I was
you're
just
right
like
there.
I was like a hello goodbye away. Yeah, right there.
5 months and not okay. All right, interesting. Well, you've talked a lot about buying a house recently, and we talk about the challenges for people all over the place. Especially with the cost of housing going up like crazy in almost every single area. Mahoney, you asked earlier, like, where has the price of a house in the United States gone down? And
Even like urban Detroit, it's up.
none of us could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, not a single zip code does seem like the actual value of houses has gone down over these past couple of years, which is crazy considering everything that's been going on in the world. But interestingly, nearly 2/3, 64% of millennials in a new Bankrate survey say they regretted buying their homes. So the survey polled more than 1,400 homeowners. Just over 20% cited expensive maintenance costs as the reason for their regret. 13% say it's because they overpaid.
Oh, I mean, just think about right now. If you're buying right now,
Well, that's what you think,
Yeah.
unless the prices continue to go up.
well, I mean, that's
we
just
don't
with the
know.
expectation
We don't
that,
know what's going to happen.
that they're going to sell. So, I mean, I don't know. I have been holding off. I mean, I've been talking about wanting a home for the last like 2 years, but I've just been too scared to dive in. And I messed up not going in right before, or actually like during the pandemic. But if we think about it, we're on almost 2 years of it just going up and going up and going up, expecting a pop, and nothing's happening.
Nothing. Not yet. It might.
I mean,
but
interest
yeah.
rates were at an all-time low, which wasn't the favor for a lot of people. But I mean, whenever you're a first-time home buyer,
I'm just surprised to hear that
kinda
people
scary.
are having regret for this.
Well,
I really am.
It seems a little silly that, I mean, like they're citing expensive maintenance costs. I mean, you have to expect that. I mean, like there's
Same thing
also
with owning a car. It's
but
like
there's also home warranties that you can get and things like that.
Don't do a home warranty.
I mean,
I feel like
when you buy a house,
like a new house, maybe. But,
no, even when you buy a house, it normally comes with a home warranty.
See, but I feel like the warranties overall are pretty sketchy. It's like you have to fight tooth and nail to get something.
Most of them suck.
Yeah. So personally, I would never do that myself. But I don't know. I'm just surprised to hear that if you've bought a house in the last few years or even the last 10 years that you are regretting doing so.
I feel like this is very on par for my generation, though, because a lot of things we're kind of slow to move on a lot of things. And I'm almost 30 and I still don't have a house yet. So I feel like I would be one of the people who would say this because I would come into the market, of course, at an all-time high. Kind of like you said, Dave, whenever you bought a home here in Vegas for the first time, you were like, dang, I bought it right before the pop.
Right before
2007.
And I think that would be the
2006, beginning
complaint.
2007, and then
That would be
off a
the
cliff.
complaint of your first home. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Pretty on par for millennials.
Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, but your girlfriend seems like the type whenever like you guys get together with the family and the extended family especially, wants to like organize something to do, like an activity of sorts.
She's very regimented like that. She's also like she worships the calendar
Yep.
too. She's very adamant about making sure anything that's scheduled is on the calendar. And if we're going on vacation, we have like things
The
to do
itinerary
at
and all that
9
stuff.
o'clock, and then 10:30 we're doing
Really?
this.
Scheduled out that
It's
close?
annoying.
Yeah. Like, you obviously are, you're a very organized individual,
Totally.
but like when you're on vacation,
I like just living in the moment.
I'm
kinda
with you
just
there.
flying,
Why
you know.
don't your girlfriend and my wife go on vacation and you and I just go on vacation?
Because you two would die.
Yeah, I don't think we'd make it.
Why do you think we would die? We
Y'all
would
would
just
drink yourself to death.
We would drink, and then we'd fall asleep somewhere, and then just like we would miss our flight, and then next thing you know, we're living in Little Rock.
You're
banging in Little Rock.
Yeah. Your girlfriend who is in the chat said, this is dramatic. It's not that serious, LOL. But the reason why I ask is
She would
because
say.
Like, do you guys play like board games together?
We have, but she's very competitive, Dave.
Right. So that's the problem. Is I'm also very competitive when it comes to board games. And my wife, whenever like her mom is in town and staying with us for 7 to 10 months at a time for whatever reason, she will also say, "Hey, like let's play a board game of some sort."
Great idea.
And no, it's not, because her mom is
also
a psycho like I am.
no.
Oh,
And so it always leads to like this big dust up. But they actually did a study to figure out which board game leads to the most fights among family and friends. What do you think it is?
Wait, I think it's Monopoly. Because of the money.
I know it's Monopoly.
Wait, how do you know it's Monopoly?
Because what other game do you? The only other board game which isn't nearly as popular as Monopoly that causes as many fights as Risk.
Yeah, Risk.
I've been in fist fights over Risk.
Yes. But with Monopoly, the board gets flipped.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with Risk.
Wait, is that the game?
And Monopoly is the game. You guys are all right. Yep, you nailed it.
Because you're sitting there for hours. There's no quick game of Monopoly.
So typically what happens, and they actually ranked how like the fights break down, 46% say that somebody will just get up and quit because they're losing, which happens all of the time.
Oh, that's me.
Somebody else accuses another player of cheating. That comes in at 44%. And 2 or more players getting into an argument
if you're
falls
not
at
taking
that
money
same
out of the
amount.
bank, you ain't trying.
I mean, at some point,
It's the
though,
scam, bro.
if the banker is over there and they're winning, you're like, you're cheating.
Yep.
The banker's always cheating.
Our family has some like made up game of like card game that is once you become a Netherton, like that's how you are like inducted into the family, the crest essentially. And every time we play, there is either fist thrown, tears cried, or somebody is getting up just like that. But every time we know that when we're about to play it, that's going to happen.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. We're like, we're masochists.
11% of respondents say they've witnessed a physical fight breakout as a result of playing Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what else leads to fights? Is taboo.
Oh,
because
taboo.
I'm too good at taboo, and everyone always gets mad at me for being too good at it.
Another one, not a board game.
What a weird flex. You are competitive.
Uno.
Oh, Uno is so
My family, we separated, actually. We didn't talk for years because of an Uno game. It was terrible.
One single Uno game?
Yeah.
That was it? Yeah.
You draw for me, bitch?
Oh, we fight.
Watch the David Mahoney Show live every morning on twitch.tv/David Mahoney.
So the blooper reel is where we feature all of our not-so-fine moments from the week. And we talk a lot, right? And we stumble over ourselves a lot. And some of it we can chalk up to being hungover. Some of it we can just chalk up to being tired. And then also, we're just generally bad at our job.
Dave, they say it takes 10,000 hours of doing anything to become a master of that.
We have been doing this for way more than 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for this.
Masters of our craft by now. And still, somehow, some way, we find enough bloops and enough problems in our words to make a blooper reel.
This was what's happening right now. See, you start talking without knowing where you're going with it,
I know
and
where
then
I was
it
going.
just fades away.
I've just been drinking.
Audrey, in all caps, said, "I hate this" in the chat. You could have just said that on the radio.
No,
you have a microphone.
she's going to
right
get
here.
so mad at me.
Oh, you're not gonna,
no.
You're not going to like this
I
one?
even told my girlfriend, I was just like, oh, Audrey's not going to like this.
Well, let's get into it.
I'm taking my headphones off.
It's the... it's the blooper reel.
Back in 2017, there was the Haramba-shaped Cheeto. Somebody.
Harambe.
That's what I said. And there was the Haramba-shaped Cheeto.
It's a little ridiculous to me that they've dismantled the post office. Dismantled the post office.
I can't even formulate sentences without, so I can't imagine with.
You can't formulate sentences without?
Sentences?
Oh, sentences. Okay.
I said it.
Did she say sentences?
I can't even formulate sentences without. It's sentences.
Where are you? I'm 30 years old, male, looking for a good thyme. Peace unto you.
A good thyme? Is that a spices? A spices reference?
T-H-Y-M-E?
Yeah, time.
Time?
Yeah.
That's not thyme?
No, it's time.
Where are you? I'm 30 years old, male, looking for a good thyme.
And then it will pull you down and like escalator injurators. Injuries.
Yeah,
escalator injurators.
Injurators.
Injuries. Good reviews if you like The Devil Meets Prada basically meeting Harley Quinn. The Devil Meets Prada basically meeting Harley Quinn.
I feel like in a scientific frontier, people are always saying, like, asking the question, why? In a scientific frontier, people are always saying, I can't even.
Time. So time. Put my beard up. Time.
On a scientific frontier, people are always.
Beard up.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So there's been a lot of talk about, fast food employees in certain states around the country getting $15+ an hour, and that's exciting for a lot of people that have been fighting for that sort of thing for a long time. But now they're all going to get fired because McDonald's is doing a trial of artificial intelligence at the drive-through system, and they're saying it's to cut down on wait times.
Wait, so you're telling me Judgment Day is going to come from like the AI from McDonald's drive-thru is going to, evolve from how to get us a Big Mac as efficiently as possible to probably hating us because we are the symptom, or we are the virus.
The technology is being tested at 10 branches in Chicago in the United States. If successful, it could be rolled out to locations around the world, including the United Kingdom. However, the service has been proven to be about 85% accurate, with the remaining 15% requiring employees to fix them. So not quite there yet. The McDonald's CEO said no decision has been made whether the tech would be installed at its other U.S. sites. But, that's just CEO talk. For the second that it can save us any money at all, and it's going to be as accurate as our employees are, we're going to swap all the employees out and fire them.
I get it from a perspective of like rolling up through a drive-through, AI taking your order, and you also having the microchip now, Apple Pay, all of that, making it super easy for cash out. I don't understand it from a perspective of bagging the food and hand delivering it to make sure that my order is correct.
I would imagine that
the first part, yes. Second part, no.
Probably, right? At least initially, because I imagine that the machine that you'd have to buy to accurately pack all of the food and hand it to somebody, grabbing the card for the payment, all that. There's just a lot of things that still need to be done.
So the thing that bothers me about this is because there's nothing that I hate more than talking to a automated answering system, like when you call in for customer support and you're like, please tell me what your problem is. And
customer service.
Yeah, and you have to go through it 18 different ways, or even if it's just like a touchscreen, because some of the McDonald's that are already out there right now already have the touchscreens. And let me tell you, every time I've ever been in a McDonald's with a touchscreen inside watching somebody try to use it,
never works.
They never know how. Same thing with the self-checkout aisle. Why I don't go over there, because you don't know if that person in front of you is going to know how to use that machine or not. So
as a former cashier at Buy Low grocery stores, I pride myself on being able to not only bag groceries exceptionally well, because that was part of the gig, but also how to use a checkout machine.
Well,
and so it tilts me so much when people have no idea how to just simply scan an item and put it in a bag.
Well, have you seen the Walmart actually right by our house, or the station right over here? They have it's all self-checkout. They have taken out every single register, and it is the entire thing is self-checkout.
Really?
Huh.
And what they're doing is they have people who are like on either side of like the entryway of where the grocery or the home goods is, so that you have multiple points of entry, but you have a lady or man who is delegating you to the next open register, and they have like giant like bagging areas, like a place for you to put your cart, and that way it keeps the traffic flowing.
And those people are not checking how many avocados you ring up, so
They're
just
sure not.
just a pro tip there.
They're sure not. How are they going to know?
I'm not saying steal Haas avocados, but
that is exactly what you're saying.
Why would you go with
Loss
a Haas?
prevention is about to go through the roof.
Isn't the Haas the one from Florida?
I don't know.
Did you detour to what kind of avocados do you want to steal?
Those fat ass avocados.
He's talking about stealing avocados from Walmart,
avocados
which
from
is
Mexico.
very interesting.
Those are the good avocados, though, Mahoney. Those are the ones that they named like the Haas avocado tree after. That's how good they are.
Wait, is that the Mexico one?
Yeah.
The Mexican avocados, the superior avocados.
I do have a segue here. Got a Mexican story.
Okay. Yes.
There is a huge sinkhole in central Mexico that is threatening to swallow up an entire home. Is there anything scarier in this world
than sinkholes?
Sinkholes.
Black holes are the only thing.
Black holes?
Buttholes.
Butthole? Nah, buttholes. I've seen some pretty cool buttholes.
They're all pretty bad.
Volcanoes?
But is that a hole? Volcano hole?
The hole of a volcano.
That's a volcano.
The volcano hole, yeah.
Glory.
Dude, yeah, you roll into a highway truck stop,
and you're like, there's a hole in this wall. Let me put my junk through it and see what happens.
How did we go? Gentlemen, how did we get here?
You know how we got here.
Is that a mustache?
So there's a sinkhole in central Mexico.
It doesn't matter.
Glitz, glamour, fame, scandal, weight loss tea. It's Pop Trash.
Man, time is just moving too fast. I mean, JoJo Siwa, to me, has always seemed like kind of a kid.
Yeah.
And now she has people ODing on LSD at her parties. Like, what
do we
happened in
expect?
here?
What do
ODs
we
on
expect?
LSD?
You can't
Right?
OD on LSD.
I feel like you just have a bad trip.
Yeah, you can't.
Well,
So-
they called freaking out.
She threw a big rainbow-themed bash at her house, attended by her girlfriend and a bunch of fellow influencers. And the party featured a bounce house, a decked-out pool and kitchen, a bedazzled piano, and a whole lot more. So we're still somewhere like straddling in between being like a child and then being an adult.
She's like 17 or 18.
She's still pretty young, right? Which is what trips me out about this story. We're told somebody who is a male around 30 years old might have OD'd on LSD.
She's 18 years old.
She's 18 years
Yeah,
old.
she just looks like a child because she's put
The way
into
she
this Disney
dressed.
character for forever. It's just like Hannah Montana was.
Well, but also when you're like
But, I mean-
Dave and I's age and you see an 18-year-old, they look like they're
It's a
12.
child.
But whenever she
Yeah.
actually like gets done up as not the character of JoJo Siwa, like
Yeah.
the Disney, she looks like an adult. They just make her look like a creepy kid for Disney's financial gain. It's gross.
I don't know what the 30-year-old's doing hanging out with an 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy,
That is
right?
weird.
Yeah. Especially like, hey, I'm going to trip my face off so much so that I'm like, people think that I'm ODing on LSD, and I'm going to go to JoJo Siwa's house at 18 years old where they have a bounce house and a bedazzled piano.
But I am not shocked at the fact that that was happening at a child star's party.
I do take that back. If you're tripping balls, I bet a bedazzled piano would be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have done LSD with Liberace or Elton John for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So
give me a sweet-ass Kate.
I think it's high time that everyone stops with the whole, like, what is Kim Kardashian even famous for thing? Because she's done pretty much everything at this point, and now something else on her resume. She is now a voice actor as well. So she is going to be playing Dolores in the new Paw Patrol movie. And they actually have a ton of stars in this. So it's Jimmy Kimmel, Dax Shepard, Tyler Perry, just to name a couple of them.
Paw Patrol.
Why did Paw Patrol get
I
canceled?
just remember, was it like last year?
Because
didn't
the
they-
police
yeah,
ties.
Like, were they like trying to
Shut
cancel
up.
Paw Patrol or something
Shut up.
stupid crap
That's
like that?
ridiculous.
Well, I'm glad
No,
that
I'm
it's
serious.
back. No, you are correct, Mahoney. They really did cancel Paw Patrol for like a blip of a second,
Well,
but
they
they
can
brought it
cancel it
back.
all they want. My kids love Paw Patrol, and
Yeah.
they don't care about
Can I
cancel
give
culture.
you so Dave? During the beginning of before quarantine actually started, when there was a rush on the grocery stores, I accidentally bought like 30 boxes of Paw Patrol mac and cheese.
Kids love that.
Would you like it?
It's because you don't like it.
I don't like it.
Did you say you accidentally bought it?
Well, no, I mean, I thought I was going to be able to deal with it, but like I can't. I'm only an OG Kraft mac and cheese.
It's like how
shit
you
guy.
got screwed up on Chef Boyardee, right? You bought the with the garlic or whatever it was.
The Italian sausage, which
Italian
that was a
sausage,
mistake.
yeah.
I did not read the label. They look too close.
Stop being a cowboy, man, with your grocery purchases, dude. Just go with what you know.
But so she's going to be one of the leads in that, or just like another actress?
No, so
in the-
this
in
this is a different pup than the main characters.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if I can name them all. There's Chase. There's Sky. There's Everest. There's no one cares. This is an auxiliary character though named Dolores.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, Kim Kardashian. Everyone gives her a hard time for being famous for nothing. She's done so much stuff, and she's done more than most celebrities that are known for being actors and actresses.
So everybody in the chat right now is loving to call out the fact that she failed her first bar exam. Can you imagine being Kim Kardashian, running a freaking tycoon of whatever she's got going on? She's got Skims. She's basically co-doing everything with Yeezys because she's still affiliated with them and funneling all that money for Kanye to still exist. She's got 5 kids running around. Like, you know what? She was kind of doing this for fun, I'm pretty sure. And all the while, getting people out of jail who deserve to get out of jail. Like, give her a break. People just love to hate on success.
I'm with them.
It's
Like,
garbage.
I think Kris Jenner's the most talented one out of all of them, the smartest one out of all of them, without a doubt. She's probably
Kris Jenner is the most cringy to me.
But she's the smartest.
But at this point, you know who's acting the most cringy? Surprisingly, is Courtney.
Yeah.
Stop sucking on Travis Barker's thumb on Instagram, you dork. Your kids are watching. It's embarrassing, Mom. So this is a pretty big screw up on the part of Netflix. Jupiter's Legacy effectively canceled Netflix after one season that reportedly cost $200 million.
Dave, we said this earlier in the show. Why would you cast Josh Duhamel as the lead in a $200 million
I have no idea.
show?
Am I the only one that hasn't even heard of Jupiter's Legacy? What is that?
It's like it's a superhero-ish movie or series, but it's not like tied into, I think, the DC or the Marvel universe that I know. It's just kind of like a family of superheroes. I saw a preview for it, and I'm like, wow, this looks horrendous. And then I saw that the fact that it cost $200 million blew me away.
That's a lot of money.
Speaking of $200 million, Scooter Braun, who's been the manager for a lot of these huge pop stars over the years, is involved in a $200 million legal dispute over a private equity fund.
Isn't that the group that ended up buying his group ended up buying what, Big Machine?
Yep.
Which owned all of the Taylor Swift stuff.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of money tied up in this, and there's a whole lot of different executives that are all pointing the finger at each other. But whether you are rich or really, really, really rich, if you are in a $200 million legal dispute, that seems like really bad news for you.
He has just had a lot of scandals surrounding him recently. Over the last couple years, I feel like everything that he has touched has turned to scandal.
Yeah, is he a dirtbag? He seems like a dirtbag.
You think so? I don't know. I don't know enough.
That's the news on the street.
I don't know enough.
I mean, if he that whole holding Taylor Swift's music hostage.
That's business.
That's not business.
That's business.
That's a douche move.
What about Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney? That was a douche move.
Another douche move. Like if you hold somebody's music that they made over their head.
But here's
she was
the thing.
a kid when she signed that contract.
Yeah,
man.
but her dad was the one who financed the whole thing. It's not like she was like some up and coming kid. She was a rich kid whose dad financed half of it.
I mean, being a rich kid doesn't always turn out great. Look at Kid Rock.
Doing just fine with his honky tonk down in Nashville, Dave. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he's not.
You
There
got
was
a
some guy
honky tonk?
swinging
You
a
have a
colostomy.
honky tonk? You got a Dave's honky tonk?
I don't want a honky tonk when there's some dude swinging a full colostomy bag over his head like he's Petey Pablo, which happened like 2 weeks ago.
That's how you know it's a honky tonk.
It's Beer for Breakfast on the Dave Mahoney Morning Show, brought to you by Speedy Mart Las Vegas.
We have made it to another Friday.
All I want to eat is them barbecue.
I am so glad to be drinking with you today.
All I want is someone to
Timing on point today.
Like it is every day.
It's not.
You can try, but you never want to try to do that.
The often imitated, never duplicated, original beer for breakfast, 13 years running. And we've been drinking this morning already the beer that we are drinking today as the temperature warms up all across the great nation of ours, and summer is getting ready to
I mean,
be
it's
in
not
full
officially
effect.
upon us, but let's not kid
It's
ourselves.
getting
Memorial
warm.
Day weekend, you're like, yeah, summer's here.
It's basically here. But Sierra Nevada, summer break session IPA. I mean, kids are out of school in most places. College kids definitely out of school. So this is calling this summer break. There's a special time in every person's life that we all look back on and remember that amazing summer break. So I really like the name of this particular beer from Sierra Nevada.
Why'd you just sniff?
Well, no, I thought you had something to say, then so I paused to give you a chance to jump in there.
That was your cue to sniff. So is that my cue? Is that how I know? Okay, so this beer's great.
The summer
I haven't even tried it. So
Session IPA has 4.4% alcohol by volume, 30 IBUs today, being served from a 12-ounce colorful summer-themed aluminum can, 12-ounce can that is, from a six-pack that was priced at a reasonable $9.99 for the six-pack. Proper glassware, serve it out of a pint glass or a mug. I recommend serving this anywhere between 45 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dave,
I'm going to say that's the perfect pour, but that's close.
No, I think that was better than Mahoney's
Oh, it's
earlier that
definitely
he was
better.
bragging about. That is way better
This
pour.
was the entire can, too.
Wow.
So
That was a
Great
perfect
job,
pour, Dave.
Dave.
It was not
Cheers
better.
to you,
Hell
sir.
yeah,
That was
cheers
a
to Dave.
perfect pour.
All
And
right.
that
I'm
perfect
not
pour with the
cheersing to you.
perfect
I'm
amount of head. That was
cheersing-
great.
I'm cheersing to my pour earlier. That was perfect.
Let it go, man.
Yeah, jeez.
The 5
Celebrate
categories which we rate every single beer on Beer for Breakfast: look, smell, taste, feel, and drinkability. Let's start with the very first one. The look, the Summer Break Session IPA pours a somewhat hazy shade of a light yellowish orange with an ample amount of fizzy whitehead that held its retention for a minute or two. When it receded, it left behind a decent amount of lacing down the side of my glass. Good looking beer. It does look like reminds me again of pineapple juice. Got that pineapple juice feel to it. Decent amount of carbonation in there. And, they call this a hazy, but there is a little bit of translucency in the body of this particular IPA as well. Let's move on to the nose and take a big old whiff of the Summer Break Session IPA from Sierra Nevada. One of the OG craft beer purveyors here in this country.
Snorted some in my head.
What are you getting over there, Dave?
Not much because I just snorted a bunch of the head.
Oh, Audrey, you're smelling out of a can. Ian is also drinking out of a can.
There's some sweetness to it. I mean, it's not a big nose.
Not really. I'm getting subtle hints of hops in there, but honestly, like the first whiff of it was the one where you get the most
hops.
Odorous.
You kind of get that classic Sierra Nevada. It's not overwhelming, but those hops are still there. You get hops with a little bit of grain in there and